There is nothing wrong with your internet. Do not attempt to adjust your settings. We are controlling the podcast. We control the squealing and the screams. We can make your heart flutter, your eyes blur from tears, or sharpen your mind to crystal clarity. For the next hour, sit back. We are in control of what you hear. We repeat, there is nothing wrong with your settings. You are about to experience the awe and mystery known as the female mind. You are now entering the Fangirl Zone.
Welcome to Sci-Fi Talk on the Fangirl Zone, a podcast where we discuss shows on the Sci-Fi Channel. I'm Steve.
And I'm Shawn Fangirl S, and today we'll be discussing episode 6 of season 2 of Surreal Estate.
Well, got a little better news for the ratings. This episode actually brought in 239,000 viewers. So that almost doubled its last week's viewership.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like we haven't been getting all the advertisement that we've gotten before.
Right, I agree. Well, episode 6, this was a wild one. Set your flag on fire. Luke tries to referee ongoing feud between his clients and their neighbors, which seems to be escalating into a dispute of scary proportion.
I'll say.
Yeah. We open with Rowan Massey walking through his neighbor's yard at night. He posts a sign that says, "Trim your damn hedges," in red, using a knife to secure it to his neighbor's door.
Okay, that's a little bit aggressive, I would say.
Yes. Then Luke meets with his new clients, the Hassan. Tariq and Mina want to sell their house because of their neighbors, the Masseys. Tariq and Mina's daughter, Daria, broaches the subject to Luke, who decides to visit the Masseys with a delectable muffin basket.
Muffins can go a long way.
Yes, they can. While Luke's outside, he meets Renata Massey, who greets him cheerfully. At the Roman agency, Luke lays out the Hassan and Massey case to Zoe, August, and Phil. So far, everything looked positively normal. No supernatural or paranormal influences to be found. Later, Luke returns to the Hassan's door to discover a headless bird on their front porch, courtesy of the Masseys. Luke witnesses the unadulterated aggression between the two families firsthand when the Masseys and the Hassans taunt each other.
I mean, I get things are getting hot, but that seems a little over the top.
Yeah, they were acting as bad as children. Luke urges his clients to return to their home as the Masseys' dog chases them. After that altercation almost turned bloody, Luke sits down with the Masseys. They claim the Hassan started it with the inexplicable hostility. So far, both families point fingers at the other as the initiator. Elsewhere, Augie asks Zoe what she wants to close the book on her real estate agent career. She just started. Zoe believes it simply isn't for her. Who wouldn't want to be Rita Weiss's best friend, though? Not me.
God. No.
Anyway, Zoe's true calling is out there waiting for her. Next, Abigail waltzes into the agency, and she's looking for Philly, a.k.a. Phil. Zoe isn't having any of her tood right off the bat.
Yeah. Excuse me, I don't think he warrants this much. It's like, lady, you don't know what's going on, and we don't know who you are.
Yeah. We learn that Abigail is Phil's sister. Abigail hands Phil some documents and asks him to have dinner with her the following night. He can bring Anthony, too. After the conversation, Phil calls Luke, who asked him to dive into the records of who resided in both houses before the Hassans and Masseys. Then Luke reunites his clients and begs them to play nice with the Masseys. They don't have to be BFFs, but both parties must be civil if they're to sell the house. Once they head outside, they notice the Masseys are also selling their home, and Rita Weiss is their agent.
Oh, that's just peachy.
Yes. Later, Phil chats with someone who formerly lived next to the Masseys. Initially, the man claims they bickered over trivial neighbor stuff. However, he quickly recalls that the Masseys fed his cat antifreeze killing the poor cat.
Excuse me?
Yeah, that's monstrous. Meanwhile, Luke reunites with everyone's favorite real estate agent, Rita Weiss. Will she behave? Hell no.
Does she ever?
No. But will she have some killer one-liners and zingers? Well, hell yes, she will. She always does.
While everyone's outside, Luke and Rita witness a nasty argument between the Hassans and Masseys. It's brutal. It almost comes to blows. Thankfully, the agents break it up. Well, Luke and Rita's assistant. Rita isn't getting her hands dirty.
No.
Luke insists he and Rita work together to ensure these folks don't kill each other. Rita shrugs it off, chalking it up to normal neighborly friction. Although a keen-eared Luke and, well, the audience do catch some weird things being said, and Luke asks about it. Rita's assistant is like, oh, I don't know. They mentioned something about cows.
Yeah.
Okay, strange, because obviously there's no cows here.
No.
Next we see Phil chatting with his hubby, Anthony, who asks him what's eating him. Phil reveals that his and Abigail's parents left them land that was omitted from their will. They said, and have always said, they wanted the church to have that land. And as we know, Phil harbors a complex relationship with the church. Abigail dropped off those papers to force him to sign it over. Phil knows her tactics and is not pleased at all.
No.
He'd rather tell her hell no and be done with it. Anthony is quite supportive of his husband, also cracking the occasional joke. And I don't know, but I was so upset that the sister was just like, oh yeah, here, I just kind of toss it. So like, whatever.
Yeah.
Later, we see Zoe join Luke at the neighborhood block party where the Masseys offer face painting for the kids and the Hassans make lemonade for everyone. Rita's also there. She provided a bouncy castle. Zoe chats with Rita's assistant, Alvin, whose undoubtedly thankless role deserves a Medal of Valor. Alvin resumes his post as protector of the bouncy castle, while the Masseys attack the Hassans, resulting in an all-out brawl between Tariq and Rowan. I don't know, but if I was that kid, too, getting her face painted, I think I'd have probably run off screaming because he looked so evil all of a sudden.
Yes, he did.
But it's like, okay, we have one of them cutting lemons for lemonade, and the other, like I said, with that evil face painting, and they're just suddenly get up and decide to go at each other. And well, Nina and Renata also decide to battle it out. Unfortunately, Tariq and Rowan pull out, well, knives and sharp instruments. How the hell did he stab him with the blunt? Like, well, I mean, I guess it's kind of pointed, but it's a paintbrush, for the face. It's not like it was sharpened.
Well, they do have a little bit of a point.
It was crazy, though.
Yes, absolutely insane.
Even worse, they were fighting and started going toward the bouncy castle where Alvin was like, no sharp objects. And he becomes collateral damage as he's inadvertently stabbed during their fight. I thought he was dead.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was like, holy crap. Once the ambulance takes Alvin away, thankfully he is alive, Luke urges Rita to work with him to get to the bottom of the Hassan-Massey feud. And that means the Roman agency needs access to the Massey's home. Rita was not having it until he put a little bit in there about, well, the quicker we get this fixed, the quicker you get that payday. And then she's like, oh, well, okay, fine.
Right.
But she had no sympathy for Alvin.
Nope.
I really felt like Zoe should have slapped her.
Yep.
Next, we see Daria chatting with Augie as he surveys the Hassan house. He appears to side with her regarding the conflict, especially when you mention rat. Yeah, creep me out.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Zoe moves furniture for Rita in the Massey house, which how heavy was that frickin' coffee table? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You don't need one that heavy. Elsewhere, Phil has dinner with Abigail. Things take a turn for the argumentative when Phil puts his foot down, insisting he won't sign off on giving the family land to the church. Abigail reminds him that it's what their parents wanted, and Phil claims Abigail was always their parents' favorite, doing everything they wanted.
Yes. Despite leaving the priesthood and marrying Anthony, they still favored him over the other kid. Even though Abigail asserts she loves Anthony, why does this sound vaguely homophobic? Because it was. As if Phil did something wrong by marrying a man he loves. Anyway, Abigail states that Phil wins and storms out.
Now, this really threw me for a loop. I don't know about you, because I wasn't expecting her to say, despite everything, you were their favorite.
Yeah.
When all this time, he thought they hated him.
Right. Next, Zoe learns from Renata that the Hassans love to blast show tunes and 80 theme songs at 2 a.m. Like Augie with the Hassans, Zoe appears to be Team Massey. This culminates in Zoe and Augie fighting once they step outside. During their argument, Augie lets slip that Zoe wants to step away from being a real estate agent. He also pours salt in the wound by mentioning that she doesn't have a father. Whoa! Zoe rightfully slaps him. Thankfully, this breaks the spell over them. They immediately embrace and apologize to each other profusely. Augie mentions that Zoe means the world to him. Anyways,
up until they went outside, I thought they were just like agreeing with the client.
Right.
But that, you're like, hold on a second.
Yes, absolutely. Anyway, sensing something potentially supernatural is at play, Luke asks Phil to do more digging. Meanwhile, the Hassans and Masseys prepare for war. Both families are armed with weaponry.
Excuse me? Who normally has that stuff in their home if you're not living on a farm?
Exactly. The Masseys even bring lit torches to the battlefield.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Steve, do you have a bunch of, torches ready to be lit in your garage?
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, neither do I. That seemed a little weird to me.
Yeah. As Phil races to their houses, he reveals that two families once resided next to each other over a century ago. Their properties lying along the same border where the fence between the Hassans and Masseys is. One day, one of the families housed a cow that strayed from the other property. If you recall, the Hassans and Masseys fought over a cow earlier in the episode. Anyway, an altercation broke out, morphing into a physical fight, and it ended up with everyone dead. Their blood flowed into the fence post holes, where it magically influences whoever lives on either side of the fence to this day.
Well, that's creepy.
Yes, it is. Upon hearing this story, Luke takes an axe and destroys the fence. Everyone else joins him. This seems to break the curse. And the Hassans and Masseys grin at each other, all as well.
Well, not with Rita.
No. She assures. Later at the agency, Abigail drops by to apologize. She reassures Phil that it's his decision regarding the land, whatever he wants, and they hug it out.
I will tell you, because we went from the dinner to him looking at papers and then looking at the Hassan and Massey's neighborhood.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was the land they're trying to give to the church.
Right.
And I was like, what? That's why they wanted to give it away? They knew it was cursed. Then we have Luke visiting the Hassan and Masseys, who are now planting flowers where the fence once stood. Everyone is smiling and gleeful. Well, everyone except Rita, because she's not happy. Her line in this scene absolutely killed me, especially about Alvin almost bouncing to heaven and that dying probably affects your credit score.
Yeah.
Of course, she's irritated that neither family wants to sell their house now. She wanted that money.
Yes. So she's going to be grumpy.
Right? But it could have been worse. I mean, she could have been somehow in the crosshairs.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Phil informs Anthony that he signed the paperwork. His parents' land now belongs to the church as per their wishes. Anthony reveals he hasn't heard from the adoption agency yet, and this started to break my heart.
Yes.
Phil reassures his husband that they're a family no matter what, and they embrace. And I love it because they're talking like, they can always get a dog.
Yeah.
At the Roman agency, Luke and Zoe ask Zoe if she really wants to quit being an agent, even though she's so good at it. Zoe intends to find her true passion. I don't know, Zoe. I mean, you're kind of doing everything anyway. Maybe hang on for a little bit.
Yeah.
And make some more bigger money for now.
Yeah. Don't get involved with Rita Weiss.
Right? It's like, just don't. Yeah. I was like, don't be her friend or best friend. Be civil. There we go.
Yeah.
After that conversation, Luke retreats to his office to try calling Susan. It goes straight to her voicemail. The message sounds too cheesy to be her. And I kept saying, hello, it says an emergency, press 1. Why is nobody pressing 1?
Right.
He says aloud that, well, it's the things that we've all been thinking, right? They need Susan. I'm like, is he leaving that message? No, he turned it off. But I was, maybe if he had said it into the phone.
Yeah.
But instead, in a rage, he smashes a drinking glass by throwing that baseball across the room. And I'm like, okay, did they try it with him actually throwing it at it, or did they just kind of make it explode?
Yeah.
When will they realize that Susan is not okay? Will our favorite couple, Phil and Anthony, get to adopt a child anytime soon? What will Zoe decide to do as a career? Only time and more episodes will tell.
Well, we'd love to hear your thoughts on each and every episode this season. Our deadline for feedback is 6 p.m. Eastern every Friday during the season. You can send your feedback via email or audio to contact us at fangirlzone.com. Please review and rate us on iTunes and any other platform you use for your podcast. With good ratings and reviews, it helps other fans of the show find us, as there are plenty of other Surreal Estate podcasts out there. Tell your friends, and we hope you're enjoying our podcast. And don't forget to check out the other great Fangirl Zone podcasts.
You can check everything out at www.fangirlzone.com. We have our contacts page. We have our podcast page. We have several dozen podcasts. I'm sure you'll find something that catches your interest. And we're always interested to find out what everybody else is thinking about the shows, about the paranormal. So shoot us those messages. For this episode of Sci-Fi Talk,
I'm Steve. But while your world has turned like 1,000 times, Mom's hasn't. Dying will do that to a person.
I'm Shawn Fangirl S. And until next time.